Hi guys, this is me Daniel. This is my first ever chess video on this channel. And today I'm featuring a game that I played yesterday, show why bishop pair is better than a rook. Hope you enjoy. The game starts off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6 and bishop to c4. This is called the Italian game. My opponent played bishop to c5, initiates the Gioco piano. I and then responded with c3, going for d4, and my opponent plays the inaccuracy, a6. My opponent's idea is to go for b5, attacking my bishop. I took advantage of this and played d4, attacking the center pawn and his bishop. We traded pawn and he played bishop to b4 check, which I blocked with knight to c3. He then immediately traded and I took back with my b pawn. After that, my opponent played d6, which is not a good move. It is because of knight to g5, attacking f7, and the only move to safely defend the pawn is knight to h6. Anyway, I didn't see that and played e5 instead, attacking his knight. He then moved his knight to e5. Though it's better to move his knight to e7 instead. We traded on e5 and I play bishop to a3. To be honest, I don't know why it's an inaccuracy. My idea is just to develop the bishop to a good diagonal. My opponent respond with queen g5, and I then castle. Queen g5 also comes with an idea of playing bishop to h3, threatening mate, which I simply defend it with queen f3, defending mate and attacking his bishop at the same time. Obviously my opponent wouldn't want to lose his bishop, so he played bishop g4, saving the bishop and attacking my queen, which I simply moved to g3, pinning the bishop. My opponent played the inaccurate knight f6, which allow f3, though bishop c1 is much better because of the queen can only go to two safe squares, h5 and g6. My opponent respond correctly with queen e3 check and I just move to h1. Queen takes c3 is the best move, but my opponent played long castle instead. I then took the free bishop and we traded queen. After that, he took on e4 pawn which was undefended and then I play a bad move rook f3, intending to defend g3 and c3, but allowing knight d2, forking my rook and the bishop. After a few seconds thinking, I realized that I cannot save both of them without either giving up a full piece or losing my rook to the knight. So I played the not so brilliant move bishop to e2, giving up my rook, but I have two bishop for a rook in an open board position in the end. Anyway, my opponent played g6 and I respond with bishop to b2. It's better to play c4 instead to add protection to the d-pawn and opens up a diagonal for my dark square bishop. And then my opponent play f5, which we trade. I played c4, opens up an attack on the a4 pawn, which he defended with rook h to e8. Rook b1 is the next move I played, and it was a mouse slip which I'm not very happy about. He played e4, attacking my bishop, which I move it to e2. And then he play rook d7, idea to double his rooks on the d-file, which I took advantage immediately with g4. If he takes my pawn I take back with the bishop and his rook is pinned and he going to lose it on the next move. So instead of that, he played f4 and I respond with g5, threatening bishop g4 again. He then play rook f7 threatening to push the f-pawn and I played the in-between move bishop to g4 check. After king to b8, I played another inaccurate move bishop to f6, with the idea of blocking the f-file from the rook, but that immediately fails with the move h6, undermining the protection on my bishop. Instead of that, however, he played e3, which I respond with king g1, which is bad because of h6 still. But he did not see that and played the mistake rook e4. The reason why it's a mistake is because of c5, with all kinds of ideas making an unstoppable passed pawn on the d-file supporting by the bishops. Instead of that I played rook to c1, protecting it instead. He finally played h6, but it's not as good because of bishop to e6, attacking the rook. The f7 rook cannot stay on the 7th rank because if it goes to h7, bishop to f5 comes with fork on the rooks. So rook f8 is forced, and I play the great move bishop g7 forking the rook and the h-pawn. After the rook moves to e8, I took on the h-pawn with the pawn, creating a passed pawn on the h-file. My opponent then pushes his e-pawn try to queen the pawn, which I immediately stop it with king f2. My opponent tried to undermine my light square bishop protection with c6, but I ignore it and played h7 and the pawn is unstoppable. He took on d5, which I recaptured. My opponent becomes really desperate and sacrifice a rook for my light square bishop, even though it doesn't stop the h-pawn, but I took the rook first. If he takes my pawn, I get to queen, so he played king to a7, and I queen my h-pawn, which he had to lose his last piece to it. And in this position, after bishop takes h8, my opponent resigned because my d-pawn is queening, with the additional being up a bishop and a rook, and checkmate is coming. In conclusion, that's why bishop pair is almost always better than a rook, especially with an open board position. Just look at how many squares that my bishops control in this position and how much it restricts the rooks from moving. Thank you for watching this video. Like and maybe share this video if you enjoyed. I'm gonna see you guys again in the next chess video I make. See you guys soon. Goodbye.